I think we're live.
Millions.
Oh my God! I was going to read the chat.
Jeff utters the words, "Damn it, Trebek!" right as we get started.
Suck it, Trebek.
You didn't even wait like a second.
We're live. Yeah.
We are live. Go Game Go. This is movie night number 3.
Don't you mean you are live with Go Game Go?
Yes.
It certainly is really what you meant to say.
All right, we got special guests. We got Papa Pete. He's back.
Hey guys.
Simon. And we got Bar. I work with Bar. He's a good guy.
So when you're back on the show, that'll be a rebar.
Yes.
Oh,
And I was also going to say, in this bar, I work with him. He's a good guy. Well, if he wasn't a good guy, would you really have him on the show?
I might.
take that out in post.
All right, let's restart.
Yep.
But there are too many smartasses on the panel today.
Bar was the first guest ever on my talk show at work.
What?
The Jeff Show.
The Jeff Show.
Shut your mouth.
When we actually used to work in a building together at lunch, me and 2 other co-hosts, we'd do a talk show and we'd invite like 2 people into the conference room.
That's right.
We would do a show, just asking questions. It was awesome.
We shared an office for 4 years or something.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It was hilarious though.
4 years. We had a blast.
Bar's a big Evo fan, Stuart.
You are a big Devo fan?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
From the beginning.
So
Yeah.
what are we? Let's see. We're talking Sean Connery.
We are, but you know what? I have to do something in honor of one of our guests.
Oh, that's right.
So if you missed the show recently with Pete, oddly enough, this doesn't really usually happen, but at the end of the show, we got off on a tangent. That never happens.
No.
Oh, no.
Never happens. But here's where, okay, let's use some slang that we were just talking about. So Pete pulls a blinder on me, right? And as we're talking about Atari games, he starts going, you mean this one and this one? And then he's got a box in front of me. He's assembling a box. I'm like, what is happening right here? And zip, zoop, and he's got it all boxed up. And so on Monday, I get the Pete box. So I thought I was going to do an unboxing, but I thought, well, let's start the show with an unboxing real quick. So this is what Pete does. Boxing. How weird. I did an unboxing and I got boxing.
They aren't the greatest label.
That's the one.
There's the ticket right there.
This is what started his generosity in the first place. I saw a commercial for it on YouTube and flipped out. And then he's like, you mean this one? And, I can't wait to try this one. I've never played Demon Attack.
You have never played. That is,
That's a really good game.
Bottom shooter on the Atari, bar none. And it's just really strong.
Love Activision games. Freeway. Never played that one.
Oh, it's a classic.
I love this one. You flipped me out when you showed me that one. Oh, I've never played this one either.
No, and you didn't mention that. That was a bit of a surprise. I found an extra copy of that, and I said, and like I said to you, I told you, I'll be shocked if they do not work. But I did test them. But you may have to clean them with some alcohol and a Q-tip to get them working. But I'll be shocked if they don't work. I mean, those things are notoriously strong and durable, right?
Riddle of the Sphinx?
I don't know that game.
That's an odd game. It's common, but it's just a different type of game. You want to read online some instructions for that one before you play it.
Okay. And ba-da-ba-da-ba.
Hey, it doesn't get any better than that.
This one came from Daryl.
Daryl Hatfield.
I didn't even notice that part of it. But the part I found was neat is I was looking at it and the label's broken away so you can open it up if you want to.
Woo! That's awesome. Thank you, brother.
Hey, absolutely, buddy. Share the wealth. kicking around. You need a few things? We'll take care of you, man. We'll take care of you.
Hey, I got you covered, man. It's okay. I got you, man.
Yep. But you know what? Every time that something goes out of the house instead of comes in, my wife likes me a little bit more.
So I'm one of her favorite people now.
Absolutely.
You know, Stu, he took some of my stuff.
I love him.
Yeah.
That guy's a legend.
So, Pete, you watched a bunch of Sean Connery this week?
I have. I tried to. I decided I was going to try to catch up on all the James Bond movies. I don't think there had been any that didn't. Okay, I didn't think there were any that I hadn't seen.
Right.
I started back at the beginning. I watched Dr. No, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, which umpteen times. I've seen all three of those. I had them on VHS, and I've got them. I got Blu-ray here. These are they're not even open for Pete's sakes. I just picked them up on sale, right? Years ago now. And what else? Does You Only Live Twice, Diamonds Are Forever, and I'm missing one in the middle. What the blazes is it?
Dr. No?
Nope, so that's the first one. Then Rush with Love, Goldfinger.
Cheat sheet.
Try to get Thunderball. It's you. Thunderball. You Only Live Twice, and Diamonds Are Forever. But actually, Diamonds Are Forever come out after on Her Majesty's Secret Service, and that is the one that I'd seen bits of it, but I had never watched the whole thing. I did watch it all, and I liked George Lazenby. I liked George Lazenby. I don't know what happened there. I really should have read up on it, but didn't. And then, of course, Connery came back for Diamonds Are Forever to finish it up.
Well, now,
except for the other one, Never Should Ever Again.
Thunderball's the one where it kind of had another life with Never Say Never Again, right?
Yeah. And I did not watch Never Say Never Again yet. And
it's been a long time.
Was that Connery's last Bond film?
Yes.
That was the Orphan film that he did in the mid 80s.
Yeah, he did it back during the Roger Moore era, right? For that one.
Yeah, it wasn't even United Artists either.
No, it was. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It was. I've seen the story. I can't even freaking tell you the story. There's a disagreement between the Broccoli's.
Yes.
And they ended up putting this one out, and
Broccoli and Salt.
Time as the Roger Moore one, like Octopussy and Never Should Ever Again, come out at the same time or something like that.
Yeah.
And so direct competition with each other.
Yeah. It says the lawsuit was settled out of court, and Bond film series producers Albert R. Broccoli and Harry Saltzman, hearing a rival McClory film, allowed him to retain certain screen rights to the novel's story, plot, and characters, and for McClory to receive the sole producer credit on this film. Broccoli and Saltzman instead served as executive producers.
Okay.
That was for the original Thunderball.
Oh, that's the original Thunderball.
And then it says, in 1983, Warner Brothers released a second film adaptation of the novel under the title Never Say Never Again, with McClory as executive producer. Okay. So that's what it was all about. There's two adaptations of the same book.
Gotcha. Okay, I did not know that, Stu. Thanks.
Yeah, because I did the same thing, Pete. I read up about it a while back, and then now I'm like, oh, I got to get back on that.
Yeah. Oh, I watched them last week. Like I'm sitting here at my desk, like right now where I'm sitting, I can look at my TV and I'll be working on a video, or I'll be doing this and that, just put it away, and I'll put a movie on, because right now it's Canadian, but it's called Crave TV, which is similar to your HBO Max or
I've heard of it.
It's associated with our national movie network that's available on cable, and excuse me, they have all 25 Bond movies on there right now. So I started last week, but then last Friday I went back to work just till last 8 o'clock, 12-hour days. So I haven't seen any in a few days. So I got 7 movies in last week.
Yeah. Isn't Crave isn't Crave the home of Letterkenny?
It is absolutely right.
What a genius show!
Right on.
Wait, what show is this?
Letterkenny.
Letterkenny.
I think it's actually Hulu might be carrying it right now.
Hulu picked it up.
Correctly, yeah.
We do not get Hulu. We do not get Hulu. Crave covers basically Hulu as our Hulu as well.
Oh,
Yeah, I think Hulu picked that up from Crave, obviously, but
Okay, yeah.
I think that's I thought Crave carried that originally. If I wasn't
Start
thinking.
that puppy right at the beginning because the first season is
Oh,
still my favorite by far.
Oh, easily. Yeah,
Yeah.
easily.
So
Hilarious.
So we do. So with Sean Connery, he just passed. Of course, he was 90 years old. He passed on Halloween.
Yeah.
And he, of course, he was really well known for the James Bond films, but as far as the masses are concerned, but I mean, he had some great notoriety in the 80s into the 90s.
Absolutely.
With like one of my least favorite films. Well, okay, so let's.
You're gonna say mine, I bet.
So let's just say this: of the Sean Connery films, what's your least favorite?
Holy smokes!
And I'm trying not to do this. I just derailed and digressed in the middle of a sentence. I try not to do that, but I just did because I don't want to name one. I don't want to name this bad film.
I don't recall, but he wasn't in that last Indiana Jones movie, was he?
He was in one of the last.
The latest one, no. Like not the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull or whatever.
Yeah, that's the one. Okay.
I mean,
Last
the Crystal Crap.
He was in Last Crusade.
Kingdom of the Crystal Crap.
Yeah. Hey, Stu, guess what?
You don't like that film, do you?
I like it.
You do not.
I do too. I watch it all the time.
Okay, and again, Pete. I
could go forever without watching that one.
I'm going to tell you that that's okay. I don't love you any less, but at the same time, I want you to admit,
okay,
it's a poorly made film, and it's truly a piece of crap. But I like some crap.
Yep.
But it's not well done.
They run a gambit. The Indiana Jones runs a gambit to the crest of being unbelievable, and then the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull doesn't even think there's a limit. It just goes so far over the top of that. That is
it's totally Fonzie jumps.
I'm not sure I can get through that one.
Oh yeah,
the one thing that got me was
I watch it probably twice. Do I have it in there? Probably have it in there too.
Okay, and I have to admit, I have it too.
Get out to watch it tomorrow. Let's put it that way.
Right. So you were going to say, Jeff, about it?
Oh, it cracks me up when the scene where Indiana Jones. I forgot where they were, but there was a bunch of crates, and he was like climbing on the crates and hiding, and there was a guy like 3 feet away from him shooting, and I mean he's so old at this point he can barely move around, but they keep missing him, but they're only like this far apart. I'm like, come on. He's more likely to turn an ankle and fall down than this guy is shooting him.
It was as bad as that shootout scene on Commando with Schwarzenegger. Nobody's hitting him, but damn, he's hitting everybody else.
Or in every action film where the bad guys are shooting at the good guys and they shoot at their feet.
Right.
Like,
Stormtroopers.
Straighten it up a little bit and you'll get them.
Stormtroopers.
So that's not cool for a little bit. Let's go back to Connery though, because Connery is an Oscar shade.
So, what was your least favorite Connery film that you saw?
That I saw?
Yeah.
Do you want me to go first then?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't want to play spoiler, but I'll tell you one that it isn't is one that you might be thinking of. So I'm going to go to something totally different. I couldn't stomach Highlander 2: The Quickening.
That's a tough one. Yeah, that's a good choice.
I couldn't watch it.
A lot of movies. That was fucking horrible.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I loved Highlander. I love Highlander.
Yep.
My favorite.
Yeah.
And, man, the second one is just horrendous.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's associated with it. It's like it'd almost be embarrassing, wouldn't it?
Well, and that's the tough part about Connery, because you're like, damn it, you're really good. And I really like you, but I freaking hate this movie. You know? You're like, why you got to make this movie in a toilet?
Well,
you're awesome. You could have made the this movie in the living room.
Is it not the fact that you know what you made before? You made Highlander, which is a classic. It still is a classic
Right.
to this day. It stands up
Totally.
like it's an '80s movie that you could play today, and the
Yep.
music and the scenes and stuff, other than the models of the car, it could be a modern day movie. It's
Still
awesome.
one of my faves. Yeah.
And then you go to make the second one. Do you want to make the second one? Well, yeah, because this is going to be a great series. And as they're making it, they have no idea what's going to come out of it. Right? They don't. How would he know? All he knows, he's been in a classic movie, and all of a sudden the next one was friggin' crap.
The thing,
Do you think they can tell when they're doing the movie that, hey, wait a minute, this thing's really going to suck?
Jeff,
You
hold
think
on to that thought. I want to hold on to that because I was going to ask that same exact thing, but I want to make sure we get to the bottom of this worst Sean Connery film. What do you think, Bar? We're going.
I mean, you can't hardly talk about it without bringing up Zardoz or however you say it.
Oh wow, yeah, forgot about that.
Yeah, but I don't
think
know.
I saw it once when I was like 12, and I don't think I slept for like a month after it. That movie was. It's a trip.
Tell us
He's-
about it. I just saw something about it recently, and I don't know much about it. Like,
What year was
I've never
that?
heard of it.
Oh my
1974.
God. My God. Way 74.
Yeah. He played Zed.
Zardoz.
And he didn't wear a shirt the whole movie, I don't think.
Zardoz. That almost sounds like an alien.
So that was 3 years after Diamonds Are Forever.
What the hell was he thinking is what I want to know.
there you go. Yeah,
Dude, again, let's get back to that in a minute.
that's one that you almost have to go out and watch just for the sake. I have to see that.
If you have not seen Zardoz, you maybe just don't because
Well, let's talk about that at the end. Let's have a wrap up with that idea. Let me get back to that. Jeff, what's your least favorite?
Well, I mean, it's already been mentioned, but I think I got to go with Highlander too because, man, the first one was such a great movie.
it's so great.
Yeah.
This was such a disappointment.
Yeah.
Now, did they have what was the soundtrack like to that one? I mean,
Can't have been
Not
as good.
memorable.
Hell, I don't even remember it.
No,
Yeah.
not memorable. I don't think it was even Queen.
that's what I'm saying. So it's
I don't think so.
I would have to say, I'll finish this thought. I want to make sure we finish this thought. I'm going to have to go with League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I've been waiting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, remember, I said at the beginning, I'm going to say one. I'm not going to spoil it for somebody. They're going to say this, but it's not mine, and that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I was going to ask if anyone's seen it because I haven't
I
seen
have
that one,
seen
but
it.
I've heard terrible things about it. So I was
Again,
curious what you guys
It's
thought?
not good.
Again, there's some great players in that film, and I'm not faulting any of the actors at all because there's a lot of those guys in that film that I really like. Even the dude who plays Hyde, Jekyll and Hyde.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that guy. He was in one of my all-time favorite movies, Rockstar. I'm not saying that's a big Academy Award winner, but it's a damn good, fun film. But that movie did nothing for him. I'm just like, are you kidding me? And it was a graphic novel, and I'm like, what is so hard about getting these movies right?
Yeah.
Everything's written right there. Why can't you just?
The reason I didn't say that was because I remember watching it and getting through it, and that's a good way to put it, and kind of liking it and seeing a lot of potential in it,
Okay.
but just didn't think they did a good job with it. Like the
Right.
not the acting and such, but they didn't put the movie together in a way that made it interesting. It was long and drawn out, and there's boring parts in it. But my God, it could potentially be an incredibly good movie.
Exactly.
Potential was there like crazy.
Yeah. Because
And
again, they wrote a graphic
I
novel.
would watch that movie again tomorrow, but I probably feel the exact same way. You know, it's been years.
Right. Yeah, it's one of those films you're like, maybe I should give it another try. And then you're like, nope, still a piece of poop.
Yeah.
You know?
Apparently, that was pretty much his last film.
You think?
There's 2 other credits, but where he did a voice role,
voice
something
stuff.
called Sir Billy, and then he did a narration for something else. Both of those were in 2012.
Yeah, you're right. 2003. Because Entrapment, I saw that. I never did see Finding Forrester. Entrapment was an interesting film. Did you guys see that?
I did not.
No.
That's a film that it starts off, and then there's a heist, and then it gets done, and you're like, okay, wait a minute. You just did the heist. Are you done? I mean, is the movie over? That was like 25 minutes. And then you're like, there's a whole other movie after this. So, even though Catherine Zeta-Jones is beautiful and it's a lot of fun to watch, she's a great actress. I have a lot of fun. She's always good. Especially I really enjoyed the Zorro film that she was in and some of the other stuff that she's done. I don't know if I can say Rock of Ages, even though I own it on Blu-ray. I don't know if that's a smart thing to say, but it was an interesting film. Nonetheless, I was just like, what? But it was a good film. It's a good film. He was good in it. I never did see the new Avengers. Did you guys see that?
I feel like I might have, but I don't.
My dad is a huge fan of that television program.
Uma Thurman was in it, and Ralph Fiennes.
Yes.
Never heard anything good about it.
Yeah.
I actually had the DVD. I think I bought the DVD at a bargain bin at Walmart one time, and I think I watched part of it and turned it off for whatever reason, and there wasn't enough there to make me go back to it.
Now I will say hello to Lance. Hey, Lance. And I will say this. Do you remember when was it, Jeff? I said something about Star One. Pete, you were on the show, weren't you? I mentioned Star One. Maybe it was on OEB Pete's show. And I mentioned Star One and the Space Metal album. And because I was mentioning they had a song about 2001 Space Odyssey.
Yeah, I remember that.
One of the other songs is it's about one of my favorite Sean Connery movies. So outside of James Bond, what's one of your favorite movies? Think about that, because I'll tell you one of mine, Outland.
I've seen bits of that. I've never seen the whole thing.
Dude.
Thinking about it earlier today, actually, because all I can remember is being, it came out in 1981. I was about 12 years old. And it was a restricted movie. It was on HBO. I was over at my sister's place, and it was on one time, and I watched it. And what I saw was like the airlock broke and the person's face blew up.
Yes.
That's what I remember about that movie. I know nothing else about it.
Well, that was 5 years before he did Highlander.
There you go. Yeah.
That's pretty wild. But yeah, Outland, it's a great, great movie. So check out that Space Metal album by Star One. It's a project that Ari and Anthony Lucasen did. And it's a great record. The first one is all about Space Metal, is all about the movies that he enjoys and television program. There's also one song on there that's about Blake's Seven, but everything else is about Star Wars, Star Trek, Outland, Enemy Mine, Alien, and others. But that 2001 Space Odyssey. There you go, buddy. That's it.
I don't know how long that is sold. It's one of these flip-flop things.
Yes.
On the side that you saw, but that's not sealed still. 50% off, and it was only $6.99 to begin with. It was 50% off. I have no idea where I got that, how long I've had it.
Well, I'm a little pissed today because I looked at my collection and I didn't see it, and I'm certain I own it. So
listen, if it was 2 weeks ago, I would have thrown it in the box.
Yeah, I hear you, but I'm going to try to get it. I want to get it on Blu-ray. But a great movie, though. A great movie. What's anybody else outside of James Bond? What's another one of your favorites?
Highlander for sure. I would.
Okay.
That'd be my pick.
You got to go with. I mean, you got a Scottish guy playing a Spanish guy, and a French guy playing a Scottish guy, and none of the accents match up necessarily.
Yeah,
but somehow it works.
There's the beauty of it right there, Bart.
It is the beauty of it.
That's the phrase. But somehow it works.
It works. True.
Lance's pick. Lance just picked his favorite.
Oh, the man who would be. Oh,
I've seen that.
That's the double disc you just showed us,
I
right?
did that a couple weeks ago or a week
Yes.
ago.
Oh, the
I don't know if it was during a video or afterwards or what, but
the laser disc.
pickup video coming on that in about 3 or 4 videos with what I got there.
And what's your technical term for those?
Those are RCA video discs.
Yeah, video disc,
Yeah.
not
Not
laser
laser
disc.
Video
disc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can say 2, because I can't really,
Please.
I'm going to say one that is my personal favorite. If I was going to go put a movie on to watch right now, it would be Time Bandits.
Dude, I just was looking at that on the list.
I love Time Bandits. And the other one I would say that I really,
Dude,
really
that was the same year as Outland.
Yeah. As Outland, right?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other one that I really enjoyed, and I can still remember how it all starts off, the first half hour or whatever is all in Russian, and then it's almost like they do a spiral and everything's in English. The Hunt for Red October.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's a great movie. I'm more into the sci-fi, like the Time Bandits is more of the kind of movie that I enjoyed when I was a kid, even enjoy now. To just flip on and watch, but you can't argue. I mean, I can remember watching The Hunt for Red October and being enthralled with it. It was very, very well done.
Totally. Tim Curry. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. And that was the year after Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yeah. Which, I always list that as a favorite, but it's so sort of
Year after
that's normal, right?
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Am I getting an echo again?
I always list that as a favorite, but it's so sort of that was weird.
Now, there was a lot of films that he made after that that I never saw. So The Quickening, Highlander 2, was in 91. The year after he did Hunt for Red October and The Russia House. This dude was busy.
Yeah.
I mean,
he worked more than Samuel L. Jackson, man. He was
no doubt.
Dude was on top of it.
Well, that's why in 2003, 73 years old, friggin' cut the cord. I'm going away. See you later. Have a good life. 15 years up to go.
Done it. I did Dragonheart. I'm out.
Dragonheart. That's great.
Yeah, he pretty much stopped after 2003. So he would have been 70.
He was 90 when he died. So
right.
Man.
I don't know.
Now he did the he did the Untouchables, which is another one of my favorites. Also, whenever you watch have you all seen the Untouchables?
Mm-hmm.
Right, Jeff, you've seen the Untouchables?
I'm trying to think.
I have not.
Okay,
I don't think I have. I think
perfect
because that's a remake, right?
Yes,
I think I saw the original one.
It's like a movie of the television show. It's kind of it's an homage to that whole thing.
Yeah, the whole FBI thing and Elliot.
Right. But do yourself a favor. Yes. There are, how there's a million different videos out there, and I love bloopers. That like the what are they the continuity people on the set are supposed to catch. But there's a great one when he goes to recruit Sean Connery's character. He's in his apartment. And his collar. So it's just beautiful for two guys on this show that haven't seen it yet. Watch his collar when he goes to get him. Okay, just keep your eye on Sean Connery's collar. Button, unbutton, button, unbutton, unbutton, button. So it's great. So check that out. But no, great movie. But the year before that was another one of my favorites. That just like you, Pete, you just said it earlier where you saw it on cable, right?
Yeah.
Is The Name of the Rose. With a very young, if I remember right, a very young Christian Slater.
Okay.
It's not a fast-paced film.
Might have seen that.
But I really like it. I own it. It's one of those that probably Christine, if I ever said, hey, you want to watch that with me? She'd be like, yeah, no. But it takes place, he's a detective in a monastery. So he's a monk, but he's also kind of a detective. And so he's trying to figure out the mystery of what's going on.
What were those monks up to?
What are those doggone monks? Silly, crazy,
Those wacky monks.
Wacky monks.
That's a niche job. Undercover for a bunch of monks.
It says
It's a one-timer.
The description is an intellectually nonconformist friar investigates a series of mysterious deaths in an isolated abbey. So if that doesn't sound like a bitchin' Sunday afternoon, I don't know.
Lance brought one up there, which I remember too. He brought up Rising Sun. And I said, I was sitting there thinking about that, and I can remember it like with I thought it was Wesley Snipes. Check it out. It is Wesley Snipes. Yeah, I can't even remember what that one's about. Obviously, it's about set in Japan, but
yeah,
seems to me I've seen it too.
Well, I think it's a book, isn't it? By the author who did.
Yeah, he said Lance says he read the book first.
Yeah. Shoot. What's that author's name? Doggone it. Crichton. It's a Crichton book.
Oh, Michael Crichton?
Yeah.
Is it Michael Crichton?
Yeah. And it's got Harvey Keitel in it.
Okay, yep.
Mako is in it.
Ooh.
93 University pre-marriage days.
Yeah. Tia Carrera's in it.
Wait, this
Steve
Buscemi. After her Wayne's World appearance?
Yeah, after Wayne's World.
Set in Los Angeles, not.
That's a movie. That's a movie right there. After Wayne's World.
Yeah. But there's something post Wayne's World.
What's that?
Yeah. There's something post Wayne's World.
No. Just Wayne's World 2.
Oh, Wayne's World 2. There you go.
Yeah,
hey, I stole the Wayne's World clip for one of my videos there last week. So one of my pickups. No, the checkers video. I used a Wayne's World clip where they do the.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I used that somewhere. Where was it? Oh yeah, the checkers. Well, man, you had to do something. You're talking about checkers for 20 minutes.
I told Pete. I said, I don't know how you did it, but I sat there and watched a 20-minute video about video checkers. It was still somehow interesting.
Pete watched a documentary on 12 Angry Men to figure out how to get it just right. Okay, so you're going to have 12 angry men in a room. That's where the movie's taking place. Mm-hmm. How many men? 12. Why? Because there's 12. Okay. Because you can't have a baker's dozen of men in a jury.
My mom just texted me. She says my dad's watching Thunderball as we do our show.
Oh, is that right? Right on. That's
he's
good.
the biggest jump. My dad's the biggest James Bond fan. I know he's huge into that.
Right.
Hey, what was it? Sean Connery or was it Roger Moore? I can't remember. I don't remember the movie, but remember how he jumped across the alligators?
That was
like Pitfall.
Roger
Moore. I think it was Roger Moore.
We'll put it this way: I've seen that before, but I don't remember seeing it last week.
Oh, there you go. It was probably Roger Moore.
I watched all the Connerys, so
it was probably Live and Let Die.
That's the first one I'm coming to. Is Live and Let Die next? Is the next movie chronologically in order? If I don't want to jump to the next Connery one, which is what I'll probably do.
Yeah,
Pete, it looks like you need to make another checkers video. It was a big hit.
Thanks, Lance. I appreciate it. It's like I can remember when I set off sort of try this 125, which I'll be 10 years doing. That when I made the video saying what I was going to try to do, I said that's what I used as the example was checkers because of all the games, it was the one I thought, how the hell are you going to talk about checkers if you're going to do every freaking game? But you got to. So hey, we got her done. We got her over with. It's all up downhill from here. Hard one's out of the way.
What do we do next? I don't know, but man, I knocked it out of the park on checkers. What the hell else can't I do?
That's right.
You're like Ferris Bueller. The question is, what aren't we going to do?
There you go. Yeah.
I'm just looking at Sean Connery's television career.
Yeah.
There's not much. It's all like almost all in the 50s, some in the early 60s.
Yeah. Right.
But he was on the Jack Benny program. How about that?
Yeah.
As a regular or just a guest?
As a
Looks like a
as a not even a guest. He just he was his role was Porter.
Singer or something.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sure he wasn't even known at this point, but
Yep.
But how cool is that? The Jack Benny program.
Yeah, we were all kind of in agreement that the first thing that we all really recognize as what would have gotten him started in the mainstream is in '59 when he did Darby O'Gill and the Little People, because it was within just a few years that he did Dr. No. Just 2 years he did Dr. No in '61. I'm sorry, '62. 3 years later he did Dr. No. And then the next year did From Russia with Love.
By the way, Pete, since you just watched all these Sean Connery movies again,
isn't
it interesting how different the movies were back then?
Oh yeah, it's like
it's perfect.
It is different. It's like the camp isn't there yet. Like Roger Moore brought in the campiness, and there's a lot less, I should say. How do I put this? It seemed that the Roger Moore movies went from one little scene to the next little scene. So you got the skiing scene, and then you got the mountain skiing scene. Then you got this, and the Sean Connery ones had it, but in a much more linear storytelling method. Like just went through the whole process. Whereas the Roger Moore ones almost seem to be different scenarios latched together to create different excitable effects. I don't know. The storytelling was better in the Sean Connery ones, but if you're looking for action and laughs and gadgets, that developed more and more through Roger Moore years. I don't know.
I think he, like to your point, I think he carried it with an air more so than any of them. Frankly.
Yeah. He had a presence.
He had that, whatever fancy French word I can't come up with right now.
Je ne sais quoi.
I'll take all those.
Cool.
When I was watching Dr. No, I was looking up how old Sean Connery was, and he was 32 during that film.
The first one. Yeah,
the first one. I'm looking at him. First of all, he looked a lot older, but it was just so funny. He looked different than any 32-year-old I know today.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess because he's all dressed up.
I remember about Sean Connery in that movie. Quand il était dans la pièce, toutes les femmes deviennent plutôt mouillées.
Ooh, academia.
And I can say that here because you guys have no idea what I said. So
no, but I keep thinking your wife's going to come in and start kissing you up your arm.
He just said I'm on a show with three idiots.
But I did notice that in this. What I said is that whenever he was in the room, it's like the women just melted around him.
Oh, amen.
I said it more crudely, but and it was really just the air. But he did like in that movie. Every time he went into a room, he'd walk up when he wanted something from a female. He just manipulate them. There you go.
I like how all they had to do is lock eyes, and all of a sudden he's messing around with her. Even the women that were trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Pussy galore.
I want to kill you. However.
And you couldn't get. All I think is you could not make a movie like that nowadays. You could not recreate that film.
Well,
it's impossible.
Not in a serious way that they did then. Because they made Archer. Archer is flipping. It in its content. Okay. It's horrible, but it's hilarious.
It's done with satire, right?
Yeah.
It's Archer. I know what you mean. It's the animated show, right? Which I've not watched, but I should because I've heard it's amazing.
Do yourself a favor.
So awesome.
Yeah, you got to give it you got to give it a few episodes.
Definitely.
Okay, gotcha. BoJack Horseman.
Picking up.
I started watching BoJack Horseman, and after a half dozen or a dozen episodes, like this is a pretty freaking good show. I don't know if you like that one, but it's kind of like similar as Archer's. Mm-hmm. Not premise, but that type of adult humor.
Yeah. Because
anyway, it's like
it's down and dirty.
Back
nasty.
That was just the way it was. That was the way they expected that to be.
Yeah, which I don't know. These days, we've got a lot of movements going on, and when I watch those films, I'm like, ooh, wow, really? when we talk about, the old days, it was much better in the old days. You're like, well, okay, not really. It's about the same, but it's just, I don't know. It's not good in any way, shape, or form. I mean, really. I mean, it's like the other night I went to the club, right? And I'm getting ready to do my gig. And my buddy says something. And then I'm like, well, I could make some comment. But, my friend, the bartender, is there. And I'm like, you know what? I just can't do it. I can't make the joke. I mean, you're like, I was going to do some guy joke, where you're like, yeah, and I'm like, but I can't even do it. And she's like, I don't mind. I go, well, it's not really that. It's just really more, I respect you more than that to do that and act like it's funny. And you should think it's funny because it's not fargan funny. It's really not.
Unless you nail the timing.
Oh, my timing was going to be right spot on. And I'm like, yeah, either way, I'm a dick. So I just wasn't going to do it. So anyway, but no, that's a really tough call, man, because I love those movies. But when I see him smacking some chick in the rear or doing something, where I'm like, like you said, Jeff, hi. And then the next few seconds later, they're sleeping together. You're like, what the what?
Well, since we have 3 hours.
Yeah, because what's the one where he's on the stakeout up in the balcony and the gal is up? No, she's no. She's in the balcony. It's Goldfinger, and she's in the balcony watching the cards and telling him.
Yeah, right at the beginning.
And then he goes up there. Sean Connery goes up into the room, gets into the room, meets her out there, and then just starts having his way with her right there on the balcony. And she forgets all it. And Goldfinger's like, what's going on?
You mean the room's paid for?
That's right.
The room's paid for.
What else you gonna do?
Balcony comes with the room.
That's right.
Was Ursula Andress in Dr. No, that first one?
Yes. Yeah.
I like that at the end. They're in a life, they just blow up the whole area and they're in a lifeboat and they come and save them. and they're pulling him along and Bond goes over and just like cuts the rope and then starts making out with Ursula Andress.
He's got satellite tracking, so no problem.
And then don't they just make a quip on the boat? They're just like, oh, well, what's happening?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Like,
That's just James.
that's Bond. We'll just go back through him later.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all we're on. He's got to have his way with her. So,
I hate to beat Highlander to death, but it's the only one I've seen about 30 times. Clancy Brown, who played the Kurgan, the badass.
Oh,
Russian
yeah.
Berserker. He plays, to bring it back around to animation, he plays Mr. Krabs in SpongeBob.
Wait, who plays Mr. Krabs?
Clancy Brown, the Kurgan
Oh, wow.
from the Highlander.
he does a lot of voiceover. I think he did something in Gargoyles too.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
He played the
You want
bad
that
guy
heavy
in,
badass voice, that's where you go.
Shawshank. Oh, boy.
Well, that was a great movie.
Yeah.
Isn't that Clancy Brown?
Oh, yeah, that's the same guy, isn't it?
Is that the same
Highlander
guy? Am I thinking of?
That guy, the head guard in Shawshank, right? Clancy Brown. Okay.
Is that the head? That's him, right?
I think so. As soon as you said that, it's like, yeah, that's the same guy.
I think so.
So Jeff and Barr, since we already know that Pete's done his last 7 days of Sean Connery,
I didn't cram.
Are you guys uber familiar with the early films?
No, I'm not extremely familiar with
Okay.
most of
I've seen a couple of them, but no, I'm not terribly
I'm
familiar.
pretty sure I've seen all the Bond films when I was a kid because of my dad.
Same.
And I went back and I watched, I think, 3 of them last week.
So Pete, let's focus in on you then real quick, since you are the most recently. I mean, I've watched them recently myself.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate to find just a brilliant price on the freaking box set, the 50th anniversary box set, all Blu-ray, everything from Dr. No all the way through one of my least favorite. It's got a great theme song by Adele, but freaking, what's the name of it?
Skyfall.
Skyfall's a piece of shit.
Ooh.
And the beautiful thing was one day I will throw this in as a sidebar to this. One day I'm sitting you ever been in a room? I mean, well, yeah, you have, Pete. You've done it with me. But you ever been in a room with somebody and somebody mentions a movie and you're like, what a piece of shit. And the other person's like, my favorite movie. That totally happened at my house with Skyfall, because I was sitting in a chair. My buddy Kevin was over and we mentioned Skyfall. It was like a sitcom at the same time. It's just what a piece I love that movie. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So, but anyway, so I bought that and I've started watching them. I'm into the Roger Moore films. I haven't gotten out of those yet though. But Pete, what would you say stepping up the ladder of movies?
I'm listening.
Dr. No is first, and then From Russia with Love. Which is better?
Does she not like the cookies?
I'm going to say Dr. No. And I'm going to say they're close, though.
Okay, so let's move it along pretty quickly here. Dr. No versus Goldfinger.
I'm going to stick, and this is something that people probably wouldn't agree with. I'm still going to stick with Dr. No, although Goldfinger is one of the most popular.
Right.
Best one ever, of course, is that one. Sorry, Doc.
Touche.
Jeff, is that what you're talking about? Timing right there? Is that what you're talking about? Yes.
You can say whatever you want as long as you nail the timing.
No, but I'm going to stick with Dr. No. I'll tell you why. I watched all three of them before, or just recently. And,
me too.
And it's like, okay, Goldfinger, I know, is one of the most famous ones. People know Goldfinger. People know Dr. No, too, because it's the first one.
Well, and Goldfinger had probably, at that time, it had the most popular theme song.
Absolutely. Shirley Bassey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And Dr. No didn't really have one. They didn't develop that yet. I think Goldfinger was the first one with that theme song, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you going to keep going?
That was iconic.
Yeah. And then so up against Thunderball, who did that theme song?
Ooh.
He covered Kiss by Prince.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Tom Jones?
Wow.
Tom Jones.
Yeah, so you said covered Kiss by Prince.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what do you think? Thunderball versus Dr. No? Still Dr. No?
I'm sticking with Dr. No.
Okay. All right. How about You Only Live? Well, I could go to You Only Live Twice, but you're going to stick with Dr. No.
No, I'm not. That's where I was going.
Shut up.
Twice. I think I'll say a couple things about that. I am very nostalgic, okay? I like a lot of things because of nostalgia as well. And for whatever reason, that was one of the very first introductions that I ever had to the oldest James Bond. And frankly, thinking about it, it may even be the very first James Bond movie I ever saw when I was a kid. That being said, just watched it again last week. Didn't remember a whole lot about it. I've seen it twice. It's in there too somewhere.
You only watched twice.
I've only watched twice, but now I've watched 3 times. So, but I really, really like You Only Live Twice.
Is that the one that took place in Japan?
In Japan, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. So I'm going to say that one actually rose above the original.
Okay. And then, and of course, after that, it took a while, but Diamonds Are Forever.
And I will stick with You Only Live Twice because Diamonds Are Forever, set in Vegas, set in the States with Walter White or William White or whatever his name was in the. Like, it was good. It was interesting, but even right down to I didn't like the fact that Blofeld changed all the friggin' time.
Right.
I really didn't like that. I thought Donald Pleasance was the best. Well, the first one, Doctor No, you don't see him, but and From Russia with Love is Donald Pleasance. He's the best one, although you barely see him.
Yeah.
And then Telly Savalas on Her Majesty's Secret Service, that didn't really work for me, and nor did the one in whatever You Only Live. What was the last one you just said?
Diamonds Are Forever.
Diamonds Are Forever. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'm glad you said what you said earlier about Lazenby, because I'd never watched that movie. What about you, Bar or Jeff? Had you ever?
I've never seen it.
I don't think so either.
It is good. It's really worth watching, and it's got somebody else who just passed away too. Diana Riggs is in it from the original Avengers series.
Yeah.
She wasn't in the originals, but she was the popular time frame of the Avengers.
Miss Peel.
Yes. So the Peel years were the most popular years of the Avengers, and they actually just to also point that out is they actually put a box set out that you could buy. I bought it for my dad because he's a huge fan of that, especially with the Peel years. And they had that. They had the Avengers, the Peel years. You can get that with Diana Riggs. But she was in Game of Thrones, and then she just passed away this year, I think, right?
Yeah.
She also did. But what a great movie, though. I stress that you guys – maybe we'll watch it together, Jeff. And we can get together with Bar, even get him over, and we can all watch it.
And, I was really surprised. I put it on. Like I say, I was having it on while it's stuck in the middle of before Connery's last one. Am I going to watch it or skip it? I've never watched it before. And again, I'm just basically watching it while secondary thing. But I do catch more than I don't catch, right? I really, really liked it.
Same here.
And it's also the one that I did know this. Trivia-wise, it's the one where James Bond gets married.
Yes.
The only one. That's the wife, right?
Yep.
So it is very good. I have no idea. I think, frankly, that I've heard before why Lazenby wasn't kept. But looking back on it now, 50 years later, I don't know why he bailed out, other than the fact Sean Connery said, "I'll come back." So they went with the tried and true Sean Connery, and Lazenby was just gone. But Lazenby was great.
The problem with it was Connery was so much older when he came in and did Diamonds Are Forever that it totally has no continuity to it to me. That's what the big problem was with Diamonds Are Forever for me. Because the last film he had done, that was in 1971. So that was oddly enough, only 4 years later from You Only Live Twice, but he just looked so much older.
What year was Diamonds Are Forever again? I can't remember.
71.
Well, that's why I looked up when I was watching the first James Bond. I was like, how old is he? Because he looked like he was in his mid-40s to me. I was like, that seems kind of old for what he's doing. But I looked it up, and he's only 32. I'm like,
32.
Okay, that's perfect.
So he was – wait a minute. So he was 32 when he did No?
Yeah, the very first one.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and, hey, Roger Moore was older than Sean Connery.
Well, dude, Roger Moore, those just got silly later. I mean, he was looking
every one of them. I loved every one of them. I love Roger Moore. Roger Moore was.
But he was looking old, and these young chickies are like, "Hey," and I'm like, "What?" I mean, this dude's like,
I really liked Roger Moore too. I mean, those are the James Bond movies I grew up on.
Yeah,
because Sean Connery was. I don't think he was doing those by the time I was watching, or at least in the theaters. But
no. I mean, my favorite.
The campiness was way dialed up with Roger Moore.
Absolutely, yeah, but it was still good. I mean, my absolute 25 films, my favorite James Bond movie, bar none, it's not even close either, is For Your Eyes Only. Hey, Pete. So that is my favorite, and it always will be. And nothing campier than that hockey scene. That's terrible.
Yeah, I don't know, man. By the time they got to that area, OEB Pete's in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I in between meetings right now, so I want to come in and say hello. I felt so bad that I was.
Well, it's nice to have you in our house for once.
Yeah,
I know.
There you go.
Be here. I'm all out of sorts right now. I'm like, what is that? You guys,
Well, we were
talking
just
some Sean Connery.
well, yeah. Let's let Pete. So, how long do you have? Just a couple minutes, or what?
Yeah, about. Well, I can push it to 15 because I don't care if I'm late. For
Okay, so let's just get your answers. What's your least favorite Sean Connery film? What do you think is something where you're like, really?
Dr. Bond, anything.
Oh my gosh, my least favorite. It's hard to pick a least favorite one.
Well, it's really not that hard. We realize that Sean Connery is great. We get that. But sometimes these great people pick some shit movies.
I'm
Not taking home a lot of gold statues.
What's the pick so far? What's the pick so far? So I know, like, I'm not gonna go out and just turn a like
Highlander 2 was pretty popular.
Yeah, that's the Highlander series. That's the one I was gonna go with. I think he mailed that in.
And
I'm not a
League
big
of Extraordinary Gentlemen was another one.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of The Rock, actually.
Me, hey,
But nobody's
Him in
been
The Rock. I'm not a big fan of him in The Rock.
if I didn't totally dislike League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, that was going to be my other one.
Yeah, I didn't mind League. I didn't mind the League because I'm just happy they made a movie about that. I just thought The Rock just felt really out of place in that. It just didn't feel right for him to be in that movie.
That was kind of what we said about it too, Pete. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is that there's nothing really good about the movie, but there's so much potential there.
Yeah, exactly.
And so many good people in it.
Yes. I don't think he ruined that movie at all.
No.
I just think The Rock just felt like it just didn't feel right for him to be in it. That's all.
You mean The Rock?
Yeah, The Rock. The Rock.
We're gonna make it
What's
to
his
the
famous
Rock.
line? What's his famous line?
Oh yeah, what the hell was it?
Losers always. What? Winners
Losers.
Losers.
Losers always piss themselves.
No, losers always complain. What is that line? And he goes, and the winners go and get to blank the prom date. Like, it's the only line that's worth it. I can't remember how it goes. I'm just, but yeah, that's probably, Highlander is not excusable. You can't excuse that one. I think he just needed to buy a new car or something like that.
And then, what's your favorite outside of James Bond? Sean Connery?
Outside James Bond, bar none, it's Indiana Jones. I think he's the perfect Indy's dad ever. He's so flippant. He's so only caring about his job. His son will raise himself. I thought he was fantastic in that movie. He is the perfect
and of course,
Indy's dad.
One of the greatest lines out of that is, "We named the dog Indy."
We named the dog Indy. But that's a tie to me. That and Hunt for Red October, Ramis. I think.
Oh yeah. What about Outland? Did you watch Outland?
I don't believe I have. No.
Dang, you guys got to get up on the Outland, man. I'll tell you, it's.
Yeah. But absolutely, man, the Hunt for October and Indiana Jones by far I can watch those movies over and over just for him.
Did you see the Hunt for Red October? Pete, did you guys see the Hunt for Red October in the theaters?
No,
I didn't have a theater, so growing up or as a teenager, I saw
it. I did see it, and I actually got in trouble that day because we were supposed to be home earlier, but we stopped at the bar afterwards. So
yeah, well,
that didn't sit too well with the home front.
When did that come out? 90s, right? Early 90s?
Yeah.
91, 92.
Wasn't that a great
90,
5 years? There were some really good movies come out during that window, like popcorn movies. Like I still think Robin Hood, the Kevin Costner one, Excuse Me, absolutely. I love that movie.
Yeah, that was a time where off and on for the majority of the time he was putting out 2 films per year.
Yeah, I was in
college. So in 90
too,
he put out The Russia House with Michelle Pfeiffer and Hunt for Red October. In 91 he did Highlander 2. Or phoned it in. Maybe that's why he had time to do Robin Hood, even though he was only in the end scene.
Yeah. Oh, King. Yeah. Yeah. Another one. Yeah. Completely forgot. Yeah. King Richard. He come home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just I was in college, so I only had 3 classes. I only had 3 actual classes a week, so I actually had a lot of time to watch movies in the day. So it was awesome.
I'm just looking.
Then he did Medicine Man in 92, Rising Sun in 93, A Good Man in Africa in 94. Just Cause in 95, First Night in 95.
That's the one with him and Richard Gere, right?
Richard Gere.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad take on King Arthur, that one.
Yeah.
I just
And then he did Dragonheart and The Rock in '96.
The Rock.
And then he took a year off and did The Avengers and Playing by Heart.
Yeah. Such a brilliant man.
I have to go watch Outland. I didn't realize this. It's a science fiction film. Takes place on Jupiter's moon, Io.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Peter Boyle's in it.
All right, I gotta watch that. That sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
And Frankenstein's in that movie.
Yes.
But you know what? James Bond, he's always considered the best. Do you guys all say he's the best James Bond?
What's that?
Do you guys all feel that he's the best James Bond?
I do.
Yeah,
They don't.
Like a lot of people feel that. I, for one, don't. Like he was never my James Bond. Like I didn't.
No, I get it.
Roger Moore was more my James Bond. He's not.
Yeah,
my
I
favorite,
know.
but he was my. He was the one that was on constantly. Like Sean Connery wasn't there. I don't know Sean Connery so well.
Just that much older than you guys, so I was like, yeah.
Jeff and I had the same take as you, Pete. We were like, Roger Moore was who we grew up with. My favorite movies are the Roger Moore ones, but as far as the essence of James Bond movie, the essence of James Bond, maybe with relation to the books themselves and the actual reality of a spy like that, probably the Connery character, the Connery take on the character was a bit more accurate to that original Fleming vision, But Roger Moore, for me, I love those movies. My favorite Bond movies are the Roger Moore ones, and I love Roger Moore.
He was brilliant. Roger Moore always he had a thing about him too. Roger Moore, like he just he almost felt like it was too cool to do it in a lot of his way, like the way he presented himself as Bond. It's like I've done this a million times. It's like I like Roger Moore, I do, but he's not my favorite. I've always maintained my favorite has been Pierce Brosnan. He's always been my favorite.
Oh, okay.
I think he's great. I think
My
he's
favorite
because I was a fan
Roger
of
Moore James Bond movies. This though,
Oh, I to pull it out.
I have a description of the Blade films dealing with Roger Moore and Sean Connery. I've always said that the first Blade was Sean Connery, and the second Blade was Roger Moore. Because in the first Blade, I was like, "There you go,
There you go." Nice.
That's awesome. That movie's so good and so bad in so many ways.
I know, right?
exactly.
But I always thought in Blade, you were like, "Oh crap, he might not make it out of this," and that's the way I always felt about Sean Connery. Is I was like, "Well, he might just lose his balls with that laser, or he might just get blown up. I don't know." But Roger Moore, I was like,
coming close.
Yeah, right. And that first scene in Blade 2, it's like he could do no wrong. I'm just like, now it's turned into Roger Moore, where I'm like, I never thought Roger Moore was ever going to get hurt. It was way too choreographed. It was like,
Yeah. He turned into a superhero. I found like in the Roger Moore era, like Bond was like he was just a superhero, right? He was like,
I'll take that. I'll take that, and not my favorite superhero.
Come on.
Yeah, it's funny because and it's you got to look at it in the time period that those films were made too, right? Against their contemporary films at the same time, right? Like 80s was all popcorn. I think that was the emergence in the 80s of popcorn films, like over the top acting, over the top set pieces, over top action. Good guy always wins against the most unreleased. Like, you ever watch a Schwarzenegger Stallone movie? They should all die a million times over, right? But they never. Like the bad guys that can't shoot. They still can't shoot in most movies, but.
Well, and I think you're right on the mark there too, Pete. Because I'm thinking because Roger Moore, of course, popped in the late mid 70s. 76, I think, was Man with a Golden Gun, and then, or was it 77? And then 79 was Spy Who Loved Me. And that was right around like you just said, where they can't lose. That's when Rocky was out. So you're like,
Rocky was 75, right?
Yeah, but I mean, that's that era where it started. it kind of started, and then the music was coming in as a big part of the movies, like you were saying, and the popcorn movies and the
Star Wars. I think Star Wars was the one that probably started the popcorn era of films.
77,
like, Indiana Jones came out. The Raiders, Raiders of the Lost Ark, took it to a whole different, like, even genre, but the same type of 3-act structure in that. I just think Roger Moore was just in front of me more. I know this is not a Bond's talk, but
I totally understand that.
But when I got older, I just gravitated. I just think Pierce Brosnan was like, he had the perfect qualities. The only thing he didn't have is what Daniel Craig brought in later, was the toughness.
Yeah.
But was Bond ever tough? Like in the books, I never really pulled him out like he was a tough guy. He was just a smart guy.
Connery was pretty tough, though.
Yeah.
Connery was pretty tough. Roger Moore wasn't tough.
Connery, even as James Bond, he looked like an old man. Even back,
we were talking about that.
He was an old man. Like he looked like, well, people looked older back then too, right? They didn't age as well, but I don't know. I just love Connery. I just think
can't all age as well as us.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, definitely. I don't even think that he's dead, right? Just now that I'm talking about him, it's like, oh yeah, he's no longer here. That's stuff.
Yeah, like Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah. But he had slowed down his movie making anyway. He was almost close to retired, right? Connery was.
Oh, he hadn't done much in 15 years.
Yeah, he's like Gene Hackman, right? They kind of just stopped making films, right?
Yeah.
There's another one. How old is Gene Hackman?
Must be 80, man. Is Gene Hackman still alive? Because there's these internet rumors all the time. Him and the other guy, Morgan Freeman, they're always dying, right?
I think Gene Hackman's closer to 90. I think he's been retired for 20 years.
Well, Morgan Freeman's the one I get a kick out. Have you ever seen a young picture of Morgan Freeman?
Gene Hackman's 90.
He's the same age as Sean Connery was.
Yep.
So how old is he?
90.
Oh yeah. But I always get it. Like there's you go down the internet, the YouTube or the internet kind of dark web, I guess, of the YouTube. Yeah. You try to find a young picture of Morgan Freeman. There's a little conspiracy theories that he didn't exist as a young man. He's always been this guy.
No, you got to remember,
electric company, man.
Right?
Yeah,
thank you.
That's right. He was.
He was opposite Spider-Man, man.
Oh, I know. Forgot about him on electric company.
Super, like you get
there. You go. Look at Pete. Nailed it.
Yeah, he got everything, dude. I think he's actually.
God, I loved electric company.
And he's just particleizing stuff as we ask for it.
Actually, he's not even on this.
It's like he's from the future.
The electric company. Boop,
he's
boop,
part
boop,
of section.
I love that show. I love the old shows, like the kids shows and stuff, for when I was.
So great.
Back when there was kid shows, right? Like
when there was kid shows, yeah. I like those old
morality in the kid shows. They were trying to teach you a lesson during the show.
Dress up, and these guys wouldn't have any idea who Mr.
Giant. Yeah, they had Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, stuff like that, right? We didn't have that.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, did you ever see the Mr. Rogers documentary from was it 3 or 4 years ago, or a couple years ago?
A movie that was made, and I couldn't watch it. The movie's not watchable.
Which one?
Tom Hanks one, right?
No, not the Tom. Yeah, I'm not talking about Tom Hanks one. There was one that was a documentary about.
No, I haven't
Mr.
seen
Rogers.
that. I'd like to watch that.
Really good.
The movie is not watchable.
Tom Hanks movie, I thought was all right. It's not a great rendition of Mr. Rogers by any stretch. It's totally fictionated. The one that you're talking about is called I can't remember the documentary. It's very well done.
Yeah.
I watched one on Sunday, 3 days ago. It caught my attention on YouTube, and it says it's our project for Fred Rogers. And I didn't even know what the blazes it was. And I turned it on and started watching it. It was about an hour and 20 minutes long. It was all interviews with his biographer, with his wife, and with the two producers for his television show that had worked with him for like 20 some years. And also Dave Newell, who played Mr. McFeely, and he still runs the foundation today, the Fred Rogers Foundation.
Wow.
And it was amazingly well done. The interviews were all pieced together perfectly to tell the whole story. It was the best story I'd ever heard about the life of Fred Rogers. And at the end of it, I found out it was a project done by a group of 6 high school kids. And it was amazing. My only comment was, if you didn't get an A+ on that, A+ don't exist. Hey, it's on YouTube for free.
The documentary is "Won't You Be My Neighbor."
Won't you be my neighbor? Yeah, that's good. That's good.
My wife and I, we have a.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry,
go
go
ahead,
ahead, Jeff.
Oh, go ahead.
I watched a movie, the one with Tom Hanks, and I'm like, I thought it was going to be more of his life, but it's more about the reporter who's going to interview him. I didn't like that because like I wanted to know more about how he became Fred Rogers. I couldn't watch it. I got not even halfway through, and it was just it wasn't watchable for me. So
Pete, watch this documentary because that explains it all.
Right,
I was going to say, my wife and I are friends with someone who grew up in Pittsburgh, and they I don't know if it was just the husband or if they both knew him, but one of them knew Mr. Rogers because they worked. I don't know if they worked in the same spot. And so my big question was, I had to know. I said, what was he like in person? And they said what you saw on TV is exactly how he was. He was just the nicest person ever.
That is awesome, actually.
Yeah, that is awesome. I would hate for him to have been a jackass. That would have been terrible.
Here's so many horror stories. Right? People you think are really nice, and then you get them and know them in real life, they're a complete nightmare. It's horrible. Like you don't want your heroes to be torn down like that. I don't, anyway. But
right.
Well, I'm not like that.
Not anymore.
As far as you guys know.
Jeff didn't even introduce me to you, so I'm Pete.
Oh yeah,
hey Pete.
This is Bar. We work together,
Awesome.
and he's a really good guy.
Is he
Allegedly.
your boss?
No, we actually shared an office for a few years.
Nice. Awesome.
So,
boys, I have to go because I still like to keep my job. Anyway, I just wanted to stop in and say hello.
Thanks man. Appreciate it.
All right. Good luck in your stream. Are you guys going to be on for a bit longer?
Not much.
Yeah, just a little bit. Not much longer because us American people have probably things to do getting ready for Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving tomorrow, correct?
That's right.
Yeah, and we're here at my dad's, so I want to go hang with my dad. And
we're not far from Boxing Day.
Thanksgiving. So. I got to call my brother. He's getting ready to celebrate too down in Phoenix, so I have to give him a call. And a good topic one day for this show on Thanksgiving is, if you ever do it, it's why does Detroit play football on Thanksgiving? Like, why do we always have to watch Detroit? Anyway, good night, guys. Good night, chat. Bye.
All right. See you,
Thanks,
Pete.
brother.
Thanks for coming by.
Dude.
So, going over the list of the movies, you guys have all seen the list. What is a movie of his that you haven't seen that you're like, damn, I need to watch that?
Well, I just said mine, Outland, because
Outland for sure.
I didn't know it existed, and then it finds out they're second place on the moon of one of the moons of Jupiter. I'm like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah, it's a really, really good film.
Yeah,
but like I say, do yourself a favor, and I'll tell you what. I'll send you a link, Jeff, and you can put it on here, right? I'm going to send you a link for that song by Star One. I'll get you a link for that. Yep. And you want to hear that song first because it's cool. Because again, the album was done in a really cool way where he didn't mention any character names, anything like that. He just put it in a format of just kind of characters and didn't have to say anything about anybody so that he didn't have any copyright issues. But and I wish High Moon is the name of the song. High Moon by Star One.
Oh, okay.
I think I started watching The Wind and the Lion a while back because I ended up getting a whole bunch of DVDs free and when I worked at a warehouse. And that was one of the Sean Connery films that I was checking out. And it has Candice Bergen plays opposite Sean Connery in that. And that was one of the Sean Connery films that I was checking out. And it has Candice Bergen plays opposite Sean Connery. And that was one of the Sean Connery films that I was checking out. And it has Candice Bergen plays opposite Sean Connery. And that was one of the Sean Connery films that I was checking out. And it has Candice Bergen plays opposite. Wow, shut up, Stu. What the hell?
Dang.
That was one of the Connery films that I was checking out. And it has Candice Bergen plays opposite. Wow, shut up, Stu.
Stu, Stuart, do you have the stream open on YouTube?
Oh, you know what? I cracked it open. I didn't even think about it. Sorry.
You might have. That might be.
Okay, I'll turn my mic back on.
I'm an idiot. I didn't know that would even.
I've done it many times.
That happened to me on one. It was hilarious. I didn't know what to do.
First time. Rookie. Sorry, rookie move. Might be even last, so don't worry. Won't happen again.
I couldn't quite get to the end of that film, though. The Wind and the Lion. I couldn't. I never made it to the end. It's Robin and Marion is another one. That oddly enough, he was in another Robin Hood movie. That was 76.
Two Robin Hood movies, jeez.
Right. And then, but the one I really want to watch came out the same year he did Diamonds Are Forever. And that's the Anderson tapes.
Oh.
That's my choice.
I don't know what that is.
I got one that we've not discussed at all tonight. That is my choice, and there's a very good reason for it too.
Okay.
And that's from 1982, because our little pissant town of 5,000 people had a theater for 100 years, or 50, 60, 70, 80 years. And it closed down in 1982, and the last movie to ever play here at the Queen Theater in St. Stephen, New Brunswick was Wrong is Right.
I guessed the wrong one.
And I've never seen it. I've always remembered that once in a while that like we have this in times past thing on Facebook and people put pictures up and they'll go, hey, here's a picture of the Queen Theater. Does everybody remember that? And they'll get conversation. And there's one guy who's really involved with it. He can never remember the movie, but he always knows it. I know what movie it was because I used to cut out the clips out of the newspaper and stick them in a book. I love movies so much, right? I did that, and I always remember the last movie ever to play at the Queen Theater before it closed down was Wrong is Right, and I've never seen the stupid thing. So I need to
look.
It says a TV reporter finds himself in the middle of an Arab leader buying 2 portable nukes, terrorists, arms dealer, a reporter, CIA spy killed, a U.S. president ordering a kill, etc.
AILL.
Pete, maybe if you would have gone to see it, the theater would have survived.
I was
13. Put it over the edge.
Wow.
It would have been that 350. Would have pulled it through.
This is back in the day when, 2 years after HBO started, all of a sudden VHS rentals had come out last year, and theaters just were falling down. And in a small town like this, it really hit them hard. Now, we still have a theater on the American side here, but actually they've been closed since COVID started here because there's not enough people. They depend on the Canadian side to keep the theater open in the U.S., and the town over there is so small, plus with the COVID restrictions, that they never, ever have enough people to keep the place running. So we're theaterless right now. The closest one, well, there's not much for theaters running anywhere, is there?
No. Hey, before we take off, what do you think about this question by Lance Jennings? This is a rough one.
I gave my answer in the chat.
Wow.
Because I've always loved the WKRP one so much, but the Cheers Thanksgiving episode is tremendous.
It is.
I have to remember what that is.
I can't.
They go to Carla's house.
They go to Carla's for Thanksgiving dinner, and Diane dresses up like a pilgrim.
Yes.
Oh.
One of my favorite scenes was they were watching TV, and Sam comes in,
Hilarious.
and Sam goes up to the TV, and he just pulls it like this to turn it towards where he's going to sit, and then he sits down. And meanwhile, Frasier can't see it at all now. I just love that.
Well, you said Outland. You said Wrong is Right.
Yeah.
Bar, did you say one?
I agreed. Outland is the one.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
cool.
For sure.
And I said the Anderson tapes.
The Anderson tapes.
So,
yep.
Sean Connery was amazing.
To Pete real quick. I was just in St. John last September.
Oh, really?
On a cruise, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What a beautiful area, man.
Did you Okay, I got to say something to you real quick then. There's a thing around here, and I think everybody feels that about local area because that's about an hour from where I live, okay?
Okay, right.
Why would anybody want to go to St. John, New Brunswick on a cruise? But when it's different,
It
it
was
really is
awesome.
a historic town.
Yeah, and town is beautiful.
Yeah,
No
there
question.
you go.
I mean, that whole Bay of Fundy and everything. We went around there, and then we hit Nova Scotia on the other side.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, glad to hear that. Thank you for that.
Just amazing. Beautiful area.
Yeah,
It's hard to beat that. It was in It was in September. It was sort of like fall, but not quite.
which you know what, September, October are beautiful months here right now. Like it's getting warm enough now. It's not cold. People think it's mind you, we had snow today for the first time.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm jealous.
Oh boy,
for sure.
Nothing much, but it was there. The ground was covered. Now it's going to warm up. It's going to be 10 degrees, which is 50 tomorrow.
Well, you're not far from Bar Harbor, maybe.
I'm an hour and a half drive, 2 hours probably. Get me into Bar Harbor.
That place was, my God.
Oh yeah, so your cruise landed there as well, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I've been there and up on Cadillac Mountain when the ships have been in, and you'll overlook where the bay and the ships down in there. It's like, oh, it's a
oh my God,
beautiful.
Insane.
Yeah,
so beautiful. That whole coast right there just was nuts.
And it's not heavily populated yet, right?
Right.
So
True.
I mean, St. John is our big city. It's got 110,000 people.
It was, and you know what? It's a beautiful city from what I saw. You know, from the port.
Yeah, we're just starting to get we're for the first time starting to get overrun with a little bit of COVID though, right at the moment. So we're having our worst days. So
that'll run its course. It'll be all right.
Yeah, there you go. I agree.
We'll have to do a Go Game Go road trip up there to Canada.
Yes.
There you go.
When it opens up.
Worth it.
That'd be great. So next month we're doing we'll be on Festivus, December 23rd.
For the rest
Christmas movies, of course.
Yeah.
That'll be a great one.
Remember I told you, I said I don't know where exactly we'd be. I don't know if I'll be around or not. I have a good feeling I'm going to be right here right now because
were you supposed to go out of town?
As opposed to going out of town, yeah.
No, Jeff, he loves us. That's why he's going to be there.
Well,
Canceling all of his Christmas plans. We can do the show.
Right. That's right. This is a lot of fun, guys. This is so much fun. It's crazy.
I hope to be invited back. It was such a blast.
Oh yeah, we're hoping you come back for the Christmas one, Bar.
I would love to.
I think one day we should just have a bar episode and we just interview him again.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Still 15 minutes and we're done.
Well, that was sure fun. What was that? Quarter after?
I grew up in a little town called St. Peter's, and that's it.
Thank you guys, because I feel that I learned a lot about different Connery movies that I didn't know about too. Like just movies I'd heard of but didn't really know that much about. So I really enjoyed this tonight.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Me too. Me too.
All right. Pete, you want to take us out?
Well, here we are. Go game gone.
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 For sure.